The most expensive cyber attack in British history started with a phone call. Not a virus, not a zero-day exploit, not an army of hackers. A single voice on the phone, and one employee who trusted it. Within 24 hours, 5 car factories went silent. Within 5 weeks, the British economy had contracted. And when the Bank of England released its GDP report, it listed a phone call as one of the reasons. This is the story of how 3 hacker groups brought Jaguar Land Rover and a piece of the UK economy to its knees. To understand why this happened, you need to understand what Jaguar Land Rover actually is. JLR isn't just a car company. It's a machine at the center of a vast web of dependencies. 35,000 employees, 5 manufacturing plants across 4 countries, the UK, Slovakia, Brazil, and India. 500,000 vehicles produced every year. And behind JLR, 5,000 other businesses, parts suppliers, logistics companies, dealership networks, service providers, all of them connected to JLR in a system called just-in-time manufacturing. Just-in-time means there is no stockpile, no buffer, no safety net. When JLR orders parts, suppliers ship them immediately. When JLR stops ordering, those suppliers stop getting paid immediately. This is important, because what happened next wasn't just a cyber attack on one company. It was a switch that, when flipped off, turned off thousands of businesses at the exact same moment. August 31st, 2025. Somewhere inside JLR's IT infrastructure, a phone rang. The person calling claimed to be from the internal IT department. They needed access verified. They asked for credentials, a login, an approval, standard procedure, or at least it sounded like it. The employee complied. This is called vishing, voice phishing. And it works not because people are stupid, but because the attackers are very, very good at sounding legitimate. They know the internal terminology. They know the names of systems. They sound exactly like a colleague. That one call was the only technical obstacle between the attacker and everything inside JLR. Within hours, the attackers, a coalition of 3 separate criminal groups, were moving through JLR's internal network. Scattered Spider had done their job. The door was open. Now Lapsus took over, and shinyhunters began harvesting 350 gigabytes, source code, operational files, design documents, internal data that took decades to build, moving out through an open door, silently in the background. The next morning, JLR's security team saw what had happened, and they made a decision that would shut down the UK car industry. September 1st, 2025. Jaguar Land Rover deactivated its entire global IT infrastructure. Not one system, not one plant. Every system, every factory, globally. Production lines stopped mid-assembly. Email went down. Design software, gone. The dealer ordering system, offline. Even payroll systems were frozen. 35,000 employees were told to stay home. The factories in Solihull, Castle Bromwich, Halewood, Graz, and Poon went completely silent. Now think about those 5,000 businesses. On the morning of September 1st, they woke up expecting orders from JLR. The orders never came. No explanation, no timeline, just silence. Small manufacturers who had oriented their entire business around JLR's production calendar suddenly had no revenue, no warning, no cash flow. 1 week passed, then 2, then 3, then 4. Every week JLR was shut down, cost the company an estimated £50 million. But for the suppliers, there was no number to put on it. Just the slow, silent reality of businesses that couldn't survive without their primary customer. Many were pushed to the brink, and this was only the first twist. Let's talk about who did this. Because this wasn't one hacker working alone. This was something far more organized. 3 groups, each with an assigned role. Scattered Spider specialized in getting in. Their weapon? The human voice. They're known for impersonating IT staff, telecom workers, help desk employees, anyone with a reason to ask for credentials. They have an extraordinary success rate because they sound completely normal. Lapsus Dollar handled extortion. Once inside, they made the demands. They were the ones who told JLR, "Pay us, or this gets worse." Shinyhunters handled the data. While the others negotiated, Shinyhunters quietly harvested everything of value. 350 gigabytes, the intellectual property of a company that had spent decades building it. 3 groups, clear roles, a coordinated operation, the kind you'd expect from a professional intelligence service, not a cybercriminal coalition. And here's what no one told JLR at the time. These 3 groups had already worked together before. They had a name for themselves: scattered lapsus hunters. They were practicing. JLR was one of their biggest targets yet. November 7, 2025. The Bank of England released its monetary policy decision. Inside the report was a sentence that should have been impossible. The bank cited the Jaguar Land Rover cyberattack as one of the reasons UK GDP had contracted in September. Let that land. A phone call to one employee, a vishing call that lasted minutes, had contributed to Britain's national economic output going negative. The production stoppage at JLR caused UK GDP to contract by 0.17 percentage points in September alone. For context, economists had expected growth that month. Instead, they got contraction. And when they looked for explanations, one of them was a group of criminals with a phone and a plan. This had never happened before. A single cyber attack, one entry point, one credential, cited in a central bank's GDP report. In December 2025, another detail emerged. The attackers hadn't just taken source code and operational data. They had also stolen payroll records. 35,000 JLR employees, their names, salaries, bank details, personal information, confirmed exfiltrated. The people who had already lost 5 weeks of disruption, whose work had been paralyzed, whose supply chain colleagues had nearly lost their businesses. They now learned their personal financial data was in criminal hands. The total estimated damage, £1.9 billion. To put that in context, that's enough to fund the UK's National Health Service for over 2 weeks. From one vishing call. From one employee who trusted a voice on the phone. 5,000 supply chain businesses affected, many permanently weakened, some gone. And the attackers, as of this recording, not arrested, not charged. JLR began restarting its operations slowly in late October. By the end of the year, production had resumed. The investigation continues. No confirmed ransom payment has been disclosed. Whether JLR paid the attackers or didn't has not been made public. But here's what the investigation cannot change. This attack worked because of one thing: a human being trusted a phone call. Not a vulnerability in code, not a flaw in hardware, a person. And that person is not unique to JLR. That person exists in every company, in every government, in every organization that uses a help desk, a support line, or an IT team. The attackers didn't need to be smarter than JLR's security team. They just needed to be better at sounding like a colleague. The next time your phone rings and someone from IT asks you to verify something, remember this: the most expensive cyber attack in British history began with exactly that call. 5 factories, 5 weeks, 5,000 businesses, 1 phone call. The Bank of England, the GDP report, the £1.9 billion. None of it required a sophisticated exploit. None of it required a new technology or a secret vulnerability. It required one employee to say yes. And somewhere right now, another call is being made.